Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Zwift Community Live broadcast of the Zwift Crit Series, North America East version presented by CycleOps. Tonight we are on race number 2. Let's do a quick little recap of how things went last week, actually. So we do have a current leaderboard for the men and the women. And there was some serious team experimental domination last week, both in the Europe as well as the North American series. Actually, we are seeing Scotty Weiss. I do see him also in the pens right now with about 2 minutes to go to the start here with 42 lined up right now. Scotty Weiss leading things out with 20 points. Eric Losell with 19, third place going to Adam Zimmerman. Bruce Bird, the big bird we called him last week. Good to see him returning. And super strong rider out of Canada. Dwayne Gran as well. Dwayne Gran as well, 16 points. And then rounding it out in 15 points will be Jim McQuaid for the top 6. In the women's category, then we did have the top 10 or 11 here. We are seeing led out by Laura Applebaum Verna. Then it will be Svetlana Javaklian, I want to say Beth York, Laura Fideo, and then it will be Lim Beaumont there as well. Running out, Katrina West, Janine Thompson, Carissa Min. Shout out to Carissa Min, super supportive community member out there as well. Racing looks like Dixie Newsom, and the founder of Fearless, Amy Levang, is out there as well. Good to see all the women showing up as well. I see them in the pens right now, lining up. So good to see them jumping back into day. We do, as usual, have social media integration. If you do want to interact with the broadcast during the live racing, you can do so. I will do my best to answer all of your questions and comments right here in the broadcast. You can interact directly with us by commenting over on the Facebook post on Zwift's Facebook, or you can also tweet at Z Community Live. We are also broadcasting over on Twitch, Mixer, as well as YouTube. You can always find our past broadcasts on VODs on YouTube. And then I'd highly suggest for push notifications of all of our broadcasts to head on over to Twitch or Mixer and push that follow button for direct push notifications anytime we go live, as well as a full-on chat experience with a lot of the community that is hanging out over there. We do have the men taking off minute 52 till the women will be out on course. Let's see how the fast and furious start gets going. Does get going with, I believe, almost 60 racers lining up tonight, shooting for that win in the Crit Series East here. Now, the rules here and what they're shooting for here is that there's going to be 10 men and 10 women selected from the North American series in order to go to the final in January. So that is what is happening here with this series. The winners, the top 3 in the East, the Central, as well as the West series will get an invite, and I believe there will be one wild card. I believe that's what it's been explained so far. So definitely be following along. If you want to jump into the series, you can do so still by joining in on Mondays. And actually, if you are a part of the regions, now you must be a part of the region though that you are racing in. So there are specific regions for the East, for the Central, and the West. Make sure to check out all the details over at the events page, Zwift.com/events, or check out in the Zwift mobile link for signing up. It does look like it's been fairly fast and furious, but I think it's going to be this initial kick, and then whoever they could get rid of, they will have done so already, most likely. And then from here, it's going to probably be Gruppo Compacto a little bit until they can hit the uphill grind into Trafalgar Square. But it looks like 52 signed up here for today's race. We are looking at Justin Purificati here, one of the faves most likely to take down maybe the win today. We have seen him out there out on Zwift with some serious efforts and the ability to race at extremely high levels. So winner of the first CVR World Cup over in Las Vegas, actually, that I was at. So it's good to see him hanging out there. We do have Asiano here, the Zwift kid, who was actually, I believe, second place at the live event. This was the wild card. So we were speaking about the wild card actually in this series, the possibility that having the last number 10 selected from the NA series actually being a wild card selection of somebody who's proven themselves amongst them, the riders, but perhaps was unable to hit the points that was needed in order to get into the final invite here. And we do see the Zwift kid here. This was the wild card, I believe, over in the Aussie E-Crit that went on over the summer actually. Ended up taking second place in the live event actually that took place over in Australia actually. Amazing job by Asiano here. Good to see the Zwift kid here come out of Australia. Now he cannot actually win this series. He's obviously not a part of this racing series, but you can jump into the race and assist your team. That's one of the encouragements I think from the event and from the organization and how the rules work, is that becoming a part of the community and becoming a part of a team can have an advantage actually out on Zwift. It's all about building community here and racing together. Now we do see a couple off the back there. We do see Cloutier there already using an arrow power up. It looks like a little bit of a struggle here already from Cloutier, who was fairly involved in the race last time actually we saw last week here. But now we do see Pierre Ficati here playing it smart at the back end of the race out of Canada here again. ODZ representing here. Now Cloutier was able to get back on terms there. It does look like Weitzner here is as well. They're about to take the right hand turn into the climb into Trafalgar Square, but let's definitely check out what's happening with the front end of the women's field. Actually, it's not the same as last week. We saw right from the get-go a breakup, it looked like, of the riders, but it looks like this week it's going to be a little calmer from the get-go and not quite as much of a getaway train here just yet from the women's event so far. But we do have Beaumont here from Fearless up toward the front. Fideo is there. These are all top 10s actually in and amongst these women. Weiss is here as well. Katrina hanging out. Carissa Min is here as well. Markman and Carissa both in the run-ins right now for the final actually, with Carissa sitting within the top 10 still, so maybe be able to grab one of those spots. We are seeing here also Katrina Weiss also in the run-ins, and so Mark Min, Carissa Min, Katrina Weiss, and Scotty Weiss. We got husband and wife battling it out, it looks like, for these top spots. So we're keeping an eye on the women as they make their way over toward the climb. But we already do have some attacks here within the men's field here. Leonard here from Innovation out of Australia trying to work with, it looks like, maybe some of the Innovation boys, or maybe just out for a workout today. I'm not seeing Innovation out on course besides Leonard today, but we are seeing up toward the front now Vision Cycling here with Dwayne. And since Dwayne is in the, I believe, top 5, top 6-ish, that's most likely why the Zwift kid is out there, to show some support for Gran and maybe set him up for a solid sprint again to the line, and maybe be able to grab a few more points. And the sport is definitely needed as the pace is absolutely bonkers right from the get-go. The attacks have already started right off the bat here. Capella up toward the front here, 178 beats per minute. Scotty Weiss, the winner last week, former world champion, I believe second place this year at World Champions, and that is Masters World Championships actually, but last year won the road race as well as the individual time trial at Masters Worlds. And now we do see him trying to chase down Real Deal Racing here now as well. And 189 beats per minute though coming from Veal, trying to break the peloton, but it doesn't look like they're going anywhere just yet. But they are causing a few to fall off the pace right now, as you can see. Looking through, we're going to go ahead and see where does this line up though for the results from last week. Ed Veal currently sitting, I believe, in 12th place overall. Mark Min there sitting in, it looks like, 11th place actually. Is Mark showing up today? I'd be surprised if he was not. Probably some encouragement going on side by side between Mark and Chris. And here is Mark actually 6 seconds back now, but he is falling off pace, and he is a part of the top 12. He's in 11th place, and if he falls off right now, it will be definitely a loss of points here and a loss of placings here. He has to get on terms with that wheel right in front of him. Right now, it's do or die. It's a race of meters at this point for Mark Min. 180 beats per minute, absolutely burying himself right now, ruining himself in order to get back on terms. K-Ray is right here, giving him a wheel, it looks like here. Maybe not purposely, obviously, but at least the wheel was there. Mark is now going to try and rest up, I believe, a little. Bring that heart rate within control. 180 beats per minute, but it's a 3-second gap, and that pace is going to be insane on the front. Cloud here now kicking again, 185 beats per minute, pulling this group along. Now finding the wheel right in front of you, trying to hold on to it in order to go along with this group up front. Now 31 miles per hour we are seeing from Timmins and Golden Retriever here. So Clouds here now up in that 32 are closing it down meter by meter, but the seconds come back so slowly, and they're going to know that these boys are off the back at this point. They're going to know that they can push the pace and drop a few off and make sure that this is not a race for 20th or less at this point. So now we do have Shiat here at the back here. We are seeing Mark Min almost back on terms. One last kick, 182 beats per minute, 525 watts right now. And now it's going to be conservation for the rest of the race, I would think, from Min and the rest of them. They're up in that 184 already, and the race is just beginning. What an amazing kick there from them. Now we are seeing some more interaction here. Ian Anderson coming on in. Good to see Ian Anderson in the broadcast, our racer focus every Tuesday and Thursday. Always good to see Ian hanging out here. And I am looking through for there it is. He's saying, go F Timmins. Shout out to the big dogs ripping up the raw. Watsy is saying here, Timmins is there. Actually, I can see in the broadcast right now. Let's go ahead and see, where's Timmins at in the standings? Does he have, I'm looking through. Yeah, Frankie Timmins actually with 7 points right now. So, and currently in and amongst the group, it is a group of about 25 at this point, but we do see Frankie Timmins here. 7 points. He could, if he hangs in and amongst this group through the duration and gets a solid sprint, as we did see in the EU, actually, a big shuffle of the leaders, as we did see a couple of riders from down in the teens able to bounce back up with a solid sprint and some good tactics, actually. So Timmins getting some cheering here from Mr. Ian Anderson, fellow, I believe, KRT rider, if I'm not incorrect there. Go Dwayne there, Dem Vision Cycling Boys rock the crit series around the globe at Zwift Community Live. Good to see Quentin there tuning in as well, cheering on the team Vision Cycling here. A little bit of chatter going on as well, but now here we do have Go Ed Veal as well as a Go Brandon Shiat here as well, coming from Damon Lowe. So, and those boys are in that front group, so we'll definitely keep an eye on them today. Make sure that we do not lose that those boys at any point in the broadcast, to make sure that we're following along as they make their way around course for all of the viewers that are tuning in here. Pierre Ficati now we are getting bounced around a little bit here, but we do have the big bird, it looks like, here up toward the front. Ciano is here now as well. Catanzaro then. But we are back and forth between the women here. Let's get back with the bird. Groot is here. Angeli now. Team Type 1 all together. And we're going to go back in with the women as the men's feed figures itself out a little bit here. I'm going to see if we can have something maybe a little bit more consistent, as I believe the men's feed is just trying to figure itself out for a second there. But we do see let's see here. It is Katrina Weiss, excuse me. Right along with Beth York now. Still all together after they made their way up and over the top of the climb. Doesn't look like they were able to drop too many off of. As I look through the broadcast here, it will be Taylor right along with York, Beaumont, then it will be Katrina Weiss, and then Newsom. Fideo is here as well. Katrina Min is Carissa Min, excuse me, able to hang in there for the back end of the pack here. 195 beats per minute though, coming from Carissa there. And I know that she does max out right around that 205, 210. So definitely over threshold at this point, hanging on to this group right now. Looks like York up to the front there, 165, maybe taking a little bit easier than Carissa at this point. Beaumont then sitting, I believe, in the amongst the top spots for the East for the women right now. And as I look through the, yep, it will be sitting in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th for Beaumont actually. And so maybe looking to better that 5.2 watts per kilogram, but no heart rate on. And I'm going to take a look at the ZwiftPower.com rules actually. If I read through the race information, I want to know whether or not heart rate is required in order to. Heart rate monitor required for all racers. So hopefully that's just a quick little glitch for her, or maybe we can even encourage her to yell at somebody in the house, get my heart rate monitor here. But perhaps maybe a little slip through on that one. We'll see if that will make its way to the final results here. Katrina here, 175 beats per minute with Fideo here now as well, all out of the USA here. Taylor, though, coming out of Australia. See Taylor with the verified badge. I'm going to have to see what is going on with this rider. Why doesn't the chat help me out a little bit here maybe on the rider we're looking at here? See Taylor, and no past results according to ZwiftPower.com. For some reason I have a feeling that that is not actually true. We'll have to wait and see actually. I think I have seen this rider actually on Twitter as of recently. If this is who I think it is, hammered away 4.4 watts per kilogram currently so far throughout the race actually, as she is playing it pretty smart. Looks like sitting on Beth's wheel as Beth York riding for PTZ here, representing on that Tron bike actually with the Mohawk. Absolutely loving the avatar in game there coming from Beth. Now Newsom here also riding for PTZ. So two PTZ riders who are most likely going to be looking to work for each other at this point. 177 beats per minute coming from Newsom. York there also sitting in at 163. Weiss makes her way to the front. Once looks like 3.7 watts per kilogram here coming from Weiss. Up in 170 beats per minute here. Max heart rates that we've seen, 193 so far from Carissa. For, it looks like, if I can find Katrina's past result, she's not showing up currently in the ZwiftPower.com results right now, but if we can find them, we will do so, and we'll look at some of the past results for everybody there and see if we can bring those on in, especially for the max heart rates, as that's always cool to see what exactly those have been and how they relate to what is currently going on with the riders as they push themselves out on course. Now we're back with, it looks like, the front end of the men's race. We're going to see if we can steady things out here. And I do believe we do have a solid feed here coming on through from them. It does look like Scotty Weiss is leading things out right now, as they do make their way around for lap two of their 6 out here. And it will be Scotty Weiss here who has made the initial break, I believe, amongst the riders right now. Looking through, it does look like they were able to drop 1 or 2 off though, as it looks like K-Raid has gone off the back. It will be, again, one of the top 5 here, Dwayne Grand here, along with Timmins. Their Pod Zaline has made it into here, as well as it looks like Islin out of Canada. Cloutier, again, after all of those attacks to get back on terms, brought his heart rate back down into that 152, 153. This is that lull, I believe, that we have talked about quite a few times, but not allowing it to calm down too much. Again, we have Ciano here making the, not the move, but closing the gap down, knowing that Dwayne is in the group right now, does not want to allow that to get away, pulls the entirety of the pack right back up into this attack there coming from Vio. And I think Real Deal Racing here is attempting to get away, knowing that he does not want to sprint at the end here. The Canadian here trying to make things happen. Pierre Ficati playing things very smart, holding his cards close to his chest here, not letting anybody see what kind of hand he's been dealt at this point here. 4.0 watts per kilogram, 177 beats per minute, following the wheels, making sure he doesn't get too far back. We'll give him a ride on as he plays this tactically so far. Let's go ahead and see if there are any questions, comments coming on through the Facebook over at Zwift's Facebook here. Diane Baker tuning in saying hello. Good to see you, Diane. Been a little while since we've seen you at one of the broadcasts. I am also keeping eyes on the Twitch chat as well here. So if you do have any questions or comments, do not forget you can interact directly through the Facebook post as well. So make sure if you do have a question or comment or any new information about the racing, the series, or anything that's related to the broadcast or Zwift, and we can answer it, we will do so as we go through the broadcast here today. So we do have Weiss here again, sitting in, current series leader. Scotty Weiss here, 5.3 watts per kilogram, 164 beats per minute. Looks like he's playing it smart, making his way to the front here. It's all about that position, as we were saying earlier. And 3.5, calming it down. As you can see, he went to the front and then backed off a little bit. That tactical move continually from some of these front runners who know it's all about positioning. If you're not moving forward, you're moving backwards out on Zwift, especially during a crit race like this. Dwayne now making his way to the front here. All the feather power-ups now at one of the most crucial points out on course. Second time around, through the hall into the square now. So you see the Zwift kid now with a little bit of attack, actually. Interesting to see. We do have Jay McQuaid here also out of the US of A. Lister now is there with Scotty now up the front and calming it right on down. Heart rate hasn't even gotten up into anything, I think, close to max. He just climbs effortlessly up and out of the hall and into the square there, as you can see, and it's all back together. Has anybody been put into any bother now at this point? We do see it looks like English with the being lapped, actually, but I believe it was going to be M. McKay, actually, who may have fallen off pace from the front runners now, about 12 seconds back, actually, and they just fell off. I believe it will be McKay in the GCN kit. So 13 seconds up, not going to be seeing the front end of this group again. 29 miles per hour currently coming from them. Mark Min, after that crazy effort, almost dropped off on the first lap, still hanging tough in and amongst them here. 174 beats per minute currently. And it does look like he has been able to bring that heart rate down, but not too far down. We saw it max out about a 184 so far today. Are you also going to cover the Tour de Zwift? Raymond is asking. So Raymond, that is more of a group ride, I believe. I'm going to have to double check on that. And I'll see what we can do about the Tour de Zwift. We'll be covering as much as we possibly can. If it's not me, it may be another caster that is able to cover, have more coverage of the races and the rides out on Zwift. So back with the women that we are seeing, Beth York here, as you can see here. Newsom again, a little bit, no gap just yet. Hasn't been any breaks as they head into their second lap out here today. I am seeing still Beaumont steady with Taylor there at 162 beats per minute. York here 163. Chris here has been able to bring that heart rate down to 190, 191. We do know she maxes out right around that 205, 210-ish area, so she's got quite a bit to work with. Well, not a whole lot to work with. Probably up in that threshold, hanging on at this point, though. 189 beats per minute there. Fideo, they're also up in that 189 or so. If we take a look here at the past results for Carissa, it's going to give us an idea, as well as Fideo. Not showing up in ZwiftPower.com right now, though, so we're going to see if we can find that for her. But we have seen a max heart rate from Chris up in that 207. 207 is the highest I've ever seen. That was all the way back on the 9th of March, I want to say 2017. Yep, 9th of March 2017 for an XRS race, actually. And then it would be a lot of 206s out there as well. So Chris has got about solid 15 or so beats to work with. So right around her threshold, or right on the edge of threshold. We'll see how long she can hold on to this, as it's already up into that 20-minute mark at threshold. That's going to be a hard ask in order to hang on to that all the way through the duration of the race today. So looking through here, we do see it looks like York now making her way to the front. It looks like maybe a little bit of a kick as they're about to take that left-hand turn. Beaumont now makes her first move, it looks like here. 4.5 watts per kilogram. She does have a 1 second gap at this point. Beth's trying to close it down, or maybe letting it go now. PTZ though is going to have to follow this up, as it will be Beaumont now off the front. 6 watts per kilogram. She knows she's got the gap now, as you can see, and it looks like, though, looking over her shoulder, PTZ immediately covered it. Katrina Weiss is right there as well, riding for Sis Cycling. There will be Newsom, though, that maybe is on the back foot. Nope, still able to hang on to the pace. Now Fidel here now, as we can see. Oh, and now we have lost the women's race. Well, here we go, right back in with them there. And now, as we do see Taylor, though, Carissa off the back a little bit, as we do have a little bit of a gap here. Weiss now trying to cause this to get away here. Beaumont and Beth still on the front end of this group right now on the attack, though, as we do have Carissa here just barely hanging on. 196 beats per minute, though. Looks like she is fairly comfortable still. And maybe Grupo Compactum. Now the counter does come from Katrina, though. 4.4 watts per kilogram. Very interesting racing out here today amongst these women, as they definitely are not pulling any punches. Counters, initial attacks all over the place here. Definitely back and forth racing out on Zwift today between the women here. Back in with, it looks like, Beaumont now coming from Fearless, the new women's specific team. I did get a little bit of encouragement coming from the founder, though, of Fearless, saying, you know, there are a lot of women looking to jump into a women's specific team, and perhaps a little of encouragement to not put that all into one team, perhaps, and perhaps get a few more out there, to not have just all this conglomerate into one space, maybe, perhaps. And so it was a great comment to see coming from Amy, and I hope this does encourage a lot more women's teams to develop out on Zwift for sure here. So looking through here, we do see it will be still Taylor tailed together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 here. Group of 7 here on the front. PTZ well represented, as we can see as we look down. 1, 2, 2 PTZ riders, I do believe, and then up toward the front there it will be Newsom riding also for PTZ. Katrina there for CIS Cycling, and then 1 Fearless rider. It will be Carissa Min there riding, though, for the TFC team. Watch out for her, perhaps, to have a breakthrough ride today, I think. As she's hanging on, looking fairly comfortable. I know she has been doing some in real life racing as well, getting ready for some of this Zwift racing, I believe, on the as we come into the fall and winter months. And it's good to see her taking that into the real world. I do believe it was Zwift that introduced her to the reality of training and racing maybe a little bit more, and then encouraged her into getting into racing in real life. Those are amazing stories to see. A lot of people see this as a training tool only for cyclists who already were racing or serious about training, but no, it's actually encouraged on a lot to get into the world of racing in real life as well. Scotty Weiss now up toward the front here. We did see the attack start for the men through their, I believe, finishing their 3rd lap out on the London Classic course. They will have 3 to go, I believe, 3 to go out here. Scotty up toward the front here, able to kick just enough to get Jay McQuaid onto his wheel in a little bit of a gap, but now it will be Pierre Ficati following up very closely. There 184 beats per minute coming from him, and I think after a full season of racing out on the road, perhaps now building into the Zwift season, I think we're going to see Pierre Ficati getting stronger and stronger as the races go on into the winter here. Now looking through, we do see it will be Mackay off the back, still not able to hang on. It was last lap, I believe. Everybody able to then, it looks like, stick with this pace all the way through to this third lap. And as they do start their last three here, it will be, it looks like, a group as we go to the back here of 22 racers still, as we do have the positions here in the upper right hand corner now. Now, if you're just tuning in, you're like, what is going on here? I know we lately have been walking into our broadcast with the assumption that everyone understands that this is not me playing a game and talking about it, or even others playing a game with controllers in their hands. This is real power coming from people's legs, actual biking happening wherever they have their trainer set up, from their homes, perhaps from a local Zwift, local shop that has Zwift in it, or maybe, you know, who knows where they could have it set up, but it's usually from your home, set up from all over the world. This is obviously going to be mainly focused on the East, those in the North America East. So you're seeing a lot of Canada as well as USA flags, but as you do see a couple jumping in here from Australia. So massive multiplayer online international field of men and women who are actually putting out real power, real heart rates in order to power these avatars forward, with an amazing calculation from in Zwift for how to move those avatars forward at a similar pace to what you would see in real life, actually. And now they're battling it out in this series for a top spot to be invited in January to the live event for the series, the Crit Series North America. Top 10 men, top 10 women, from actually the comfort of their homes, able to battle it out in this online platform, push each other, and get a shot at those tickets. Pretty amazing platform that has been built here. Keith Leonard saying, slow down, Scotty. And why are Tron bikes legal? Aren't they basically time trial bikes? Toby Yarborough are saying, no, the TT bikes are significantly faster than the Tron bikes. You can actually see the measurements of how much faster the TT bikes are, probably, I believe, over at zwiftblog.com. And the Tron bikes they definitely are a little bit faster than some of the other road bikes out there, but it is not so much faster that it is going to be it's going to be absolutely critical at every single point of the race. Now, it may give you just enough to, you know, close that couple few meters here and there, but it's definitely earned. And just like any other equipment advantages or different kinds of things you might be able to figure out through long time of spending in cycling, you need to spend a long time in Zwift as well as climbing in order to get strong enough to have that Tron bike. So it's definitely an earned buff in game for sure. And John Sandy says, reminds me of Mario Kart, and there are power-ups in game, but that reminds me of Mario Kart as well as real life a little bit, as there's definitely some RNG in real life with a little bit of luck that definitely comes into racing in IRL, in real life. And definitely but then the little bit of Mario Kart there we do see a couple power-ups being thrown down. Those drafting power-ups, as you can do see being thrown down here from Pierre Ficati as well as McQuaid, do reduce the amount of power you have to put out to hold on to somebody's wheel while you do draft on them here. So Pierre Ficati kicking 4.9 watts per kilogram. Now, as you can see with that drafting power up here, Dwayne now here as well, as they make their way on to the red road here into the straight next to Buckingham Palace. It looks like it is going to calm down a little bit after the initial attack. Couple of riders here trying to get away momentarily here. Let's go ahead and see what's happening with the women, though, as they do make their way around the course and into one of the most crucial sections, actually, being let out here. It looks like, I believe, Beth York. We'll see if we can get back in with them. I am with Taylor Weiss as well as York, I believe, still all together now, and our feed is coming through a little bit sporadically here. We're going to try and stick with it though and see if we can find the front end of this women's field. I do believe they are still together. Yep, they are still all together here, making their way through the climb. The one section out on course where you can try to get away because of gravity here. Beaumont here from Fearless now leading things out. Doesn't look like too much of an attack just yet though. Fideo is here as well. Weiss is there. York now and Newsom. Now here's the interesting thing about the North American series is that it's not the top 10, it's the top 3. So these ladies are battling it out for those top 3 positions is what really is going to matter amongst the women out here. So looking through the past results right now, the current leaders amongst this group will be Verna right along with Javakyan and then Beth York here, but I'm not seeing Verna, I don't believe, amongst the women at the front here. Fidel is there as well as Beth York, so they're going to be leading things out, just showing up today, along with Weiss and Min. They all, and Newsom actually, all of these women actually have a solid shot actually at increasing their points so much that they could find themselves in the top 3 actually, just because they were able to show up here today and throw down amongst the 9 women who jumped into the pens. Now again, make sure to, if you are interested in this, obviously there's some spaces available amongst the women here still, so jump into the series and you could punch your ticket with a couple of solid wins out there to the final actually for the North American series here. So as we look through here, the women who showed up today definitely going to have some points up for grabs and be able to move their way up here. It looks like Chris is still playing it smart here, sitting in 6th, 7th. We are continually kind of seeing her at the back here, just following the wheels, keeping that conservation. I have a feeling she might be playing as smart as she possibly can to try and make a move later on. Let the girls at the front here do the work here. Now Katrina here, 176, 177, pulling along here on that charm, that pink trap bike that she does have here. York there from PTZ, still with her teammate, as you can see. I believe it is going to be Newsom here. So 2 PTZ riders maybe going to start throwing some attacks down as they make their way into the final laps out on course right now. So back in with it looks like Scotty now off the back here. I believe there was some sort of a mechanical now, and Weiss now is going to have to make a crazy chase to the front end of this group now, as I do believe there was a little bit of a mechanical issue out on course here, and Scotty Weiss off the back here is most likely going to be throwing his hands in the air a little bit here. Timmins now here, 3.4 watts per kilogram. Dwayne up toward the front here, it looks like. Capella, we have lost the front end of the race against here, so we're going to see if we can get back in with it. Here we go. Now, Veal here, Real Deal Racing, right along, and I think that may be the reason why we are having a couple of issues here with the connection, I believe, to the game. I'm going to close a couple things here on my side, see if I can clean that up maybe on my side of the cast here. I do have a commentator on board. I'm going to let you go for just a minute here and let you know I'll bring you back in if for the next cast here, just so you know their cue. I believe we may have Quentin LaFay here jumping in with us for the Central and the West here, so we'll go ahead and bring him back in when we can for the next cast here. So now we do have Catanzaro right along with Padazil. Hopefully I can get that one right here. I believe it is Padazin, I believe, there with Shiat now as well up toward the front end of this race. Weiss here is going to be on the chase though all day long. 5.4 watts per kilogram, 53 seconds now. He is outside of the runnings for the points right now, so it's going to be difficult day to chase this down here. So Leonard now innovation there. Cantanzaro now up toward the front, pushing the pace here, 30 miles per hour. He's going to have to go faster than 30 to close this down. Current series leader off the back here, had some sort of mechanical, I believe, here. Now sitting in 20th place, actually, though. It is 1 point still. Now kicking 5.8, 32 miles per hour. And if he closes this down, this will be the chase of a lifetime. 2 laps to go. 2 laps to go out on course today. 2 laps to go, and it looks like things have calmed down through this section here as they make their way around here. Ciano here now, Zwift Kid here, leading things out as a domestique, I believe, for the Vision Cycling team, as we can see here. And we do see up toward the front here, Pierre Vicati now making an attack, trying, actually, no, I think he's just following up Real Deal, as it is Veal again attacking every time through this section of the course. And I believe it has everything to do with the slowdown through that corner. Every time they come around that corner, actually, it's just like they try and make it a little bit like in real life racing. We have to slow down a little bit in the corner and speed back up out of the corner. It's that kick like you would see in crit racing here. Pierre Ficati now following it up there. Will be trying to close it down. It will be McQuaid. It will be Podzaline here as well, right along with Lavoie. Now trying to close it down almost back onto the wheel. It does look like they will be able to do so. The Big Bird, Bruce, now 143 beats per minute, just sitting in, waiting for that sprint, I believe. Not too high of a heart rate. Bruce here playing it super smart. This boy can smash huge watts when he wants to, and I believe he is definitely just waiting for his moment to attack here. Mark Min still hanging in there even after being off the back and burning a few of those matches, throwing some cards on the table early on, but it looks like he's still got a couple of pocket rockets maybe to throw down when it comes down to the river here, but we'll see if it will. Lap and a half to go, or if it's going to all be blown apart at any point here. We're getting some go Ed there from Damon Lowe here. He's cheering him on now, we can see here. And now we're seeing Ian Anderson saying, but John, I've never gotten my heart rate to 192 beats per minute in Mario Kart. Ian Anderson saying, is it reminded a little bit of shots fired there, maybe a little bit about the Mario Kart comment. Well, I don't know. You must not ever played Mario Kart against me, Ian, because all right, so now looking through some of the comments over at Twitch now, as we're seeing Capped Docs is saying, hey Nathan, Ed Veal, Real Deal Racing is the Canadian hour record holder plus Pan American Games bronze medalist. Check out his Zwift power results. Thank you so much for the comment, actually, Capped Docs. That is a great there's some great info there. And I do notice, actually, that every time that Real Deal goes, every time EVO kicks, Pierre Ficati immediately follows it up. Bruce immediately follows up. So they obviously know who Real Deal Racing is here, actually. So we're going to keep eyes on him. Bronze medalist at Pan Americans, our record holder out of Canada here. So solid racer, it looks like. And he is definitely hanging in here. One to be watching for the East Series. Currently seeing, as we were saying, maybe caught out a little bit in the sprint last week. Maybe playing some better tactics this week, as it does come down to a little bit of luck as well as timing things perfectly in that sprint to try and take the W, as they do have a little over a lap to go. We're going to be hitting the bell lap in just a moment here, and here's the kick into the climb. This is the spot out on course that we've seen them go every single lap here. 10 watts coming from McQuaid. Lister going as well. Here comes the Real Deal now out of Canada, and it will be McQuaid following up very closely there. It will be Catanzaro right along with Podzaline there, with that aero power up, just trying to hang on, I think, using that aero power up. It's all about the arrows a lot of times out on course, and if you use those now, you will not have them into the sprint, and it's about the maximum speed into the finish line. Using those arrows at this point does make things difficult for the final lap for a lot of these riders, but just hanging on may be all that some of them are thinking about at this point in the race. A couple of these riders starting to fall off. Timmons here at the back here, Zwift Kid here, 195. Dwayne, who is sitting in the top 5, needs to hang on. You can see he's using that drafting power, 103 RPM, just spinning to win at this point, trying to hang on to the wheels. We do have, it looks like, Min here, 1 second, has to close it down now. We saw him up in that 184 with that last ditch effort. He's sitting at 181. I think he's going to hang on, but he used that aero power up. We were just saying, you usually do not use that at this point unless it is absolute desperation. We do see B-Shot now off the back now, 18th place now. He may be caught by some of those who are trying to get back on terms. It's going to be solo effort for one lap for Beat Shot at this time. Now we are seeing Dwan now. Here, Dwayne Grain sitting at the back now. 169 beats per minute. G. Capel here is in there as well. Mark Min, one of the top 15, I believe, 11th place here. Lister is in there as well. Leonard here just working for the pack at this point. And it will be Deal now off the front, though. He's got a gap, and this is a time trial specialist. 440 watts. Can he hold this kind of a pace for the entirety of one lap out on course, though? It's going to be a race of a lifetime for him if he can do so, because that pack, look at the hungry pack of wolves here just hunting him down. But he smells blood, I think, and he can tell there's some weakness as the golden retriever is holding the door, it looks like, for the man on the front of the race now. Timmons now coming around, the bird now there as well, trying to maybe make an attack. McQuaid now knowing that this is the moment of truth for the race. 8.3 watts per kilogram, 34 miles per hour. As you can see him kicking, trying to make that gap to the real deal. Can he make it happen right now? Pierre Ficati knowing this is a move as well, I believe, starting to feel some of that weakness amongst the group, not wanting to close it down. And if Veal gets away, it might be all done with McQuaid. A couple of strongest riders amongst these boys, I believe, at this point, trying to make something happen. Looking over the shoulder of Pierre Ficati. There's nobody behind him any longer, though. Can he even hang on after that counter? And as they all counter back and forth, it's only 2 seconds. But now, still on the front, McQuaid and Veal. Moriarty here now trying to close it down. We haven't seen him on the front much at all here. And Moriarty maybe saving for this 0.7 watts per kilogram, and it's only 1 second. It's all coming back together. It's all said and done. 34 miles per hour. It was a valiant effort, but they're going to bring it in for a sprint finish unless there's a counter coming from somebody who's been saving for this moment. Will there be a counter attack after the catch, or will there come a lull before the final sprint? The bell lap has started here. It's just 3 miles to go to the finish line. Up toward the front of this race, it is Timmons here out of the US of A. Again, Leonard, Big Bird there as well. Bruce the man now at the front out of Canada. Steady at 141, waiting for those final moments to the line. Let's hear your predictions here. All you Zwifters out there watching, who is going to win the race today? Who is going to make this happen? And we're getting a prediction here already with Beck here saying that it's going to be Pierre Ficati with 1 lap to go. Fellow teammate Chris Beck, good to see him out there today in the broadcast. Also, fellow teammate of Pierre Ficati here for ODZ. We got Collins here also saying Pierre Ficati here. So we've got some predictions that are doubling up. Keep your votes coming on in. Who is it going to be? Looking over at Zwift Community Live on Twitch as well. Let me know there. Let me know on Twitch. Let me know on Twitter at Z Community Live. Who is going to take the win? Big Bird's off the back now. Bruce, he's got to throw down some big watts. He gets right back in it though. 139, 140. Pretty chill at this point for Bruce. Pierre Ficati sitting in at 172 right now. Still looking for those predictions. Ed Veal from Damon Lowe saying it's going to be Veal the real deal out there on course for the W. So there's your predictions so far. Let's hear them. We've got a half a lap to go, and they're still at the front end of this race. If we move our way to the back now, there's still at least 17 riders, maybe even up into 18 riders in this group. Everybody's going to get some points as long as they hang in to this group, but it is going to be off the back here for 19th. It's going to be Beat Shiat as well as Virus. They're chasing that down, I believe. I'm not exactly sure. But now up toward the front here, we are seeing Lister here as well as... No, B-Dobie is not a part of this race. He's on the lap. So looking through now, everybody just looking for the correct position here. Timmons now kicking again here. 4.3 watts per kilogram, 161 beats per minute, making sure that he holds on to a solid position at the front. If you're not moving forward, you are moving back. Do not want to be caught off guards at any moment today. Looking through over at the Twitch chat, we are looking for those predictions. If you got them, let me know what you think is your favorite rider. Who is going to take the W out there today in the East Ecrit presented by CycleOps. Pierre Ficati chilling out 179 though. The heart rate's actually going up, and maybe that's from a little bit of nervousness, a little bit of jitters now at this point, perhaps, as they make their way into the final few miles out on course. It will be just about a mile and a half or so to go, and definitely a lull, definitely a calm before the storm right now. Now again, let's take one last look before they make this little kick over the top of this climb. This is the current situation for the men. Scotty Weiss, Eric Losell, Adam Zimmerman, Bruce Bird, Dwan Grant, Jim McQuaid. As you can see here, keep an eye on these riders here and who's going to end up where. Now here comes the kicks. Now we did see it before they even came around. McQuaid does not want a sprint finish. He wants to get away right here, right now. Actually throwing down that feather power up a little bit early, not on the uphill. 8 watts per kilogram though. He's got 159 beats per minute. I think he's got quite a few to work with still. Looking through here, Leonard here from Innovation chasing it down. Here comes Dwayne from Vision Cycling. Now here comes some of those feather power ups. They're being blown like crazy at this point since they do not have the arrow power up. They had the feather power up. They saved it for this moment, but they got to take full advantage of it and get away. It doesn't look like it's going to be going anywhere just yet, as they are making their way around the course here. Capel now with Min. It will be the Zwift kid here. Ciano here, 197 beats per minute. Now, I know we do also have the women's race. As we've had a lot of action within the men's race. Now the women's race is still Grupo Compacto. They still have a lap and a half to go. We'll have plenty of action within the women's race. Still, here's the current situation within the women's race. They're about to make their way. And they're also with some attacks up over the top of the same exact section, but they will have 1 lap to go after this. We do have Taylor on the front here making an attack currently. Chris is still sitting in. Chris is still sitting in. Chris is still sitting in. Beth's still sitting in. Beth will with that 9 watts per kilogram. We are seeing Newsom at the back. PTZ maybe falling off at 182 beats per minute. So the attacks here starting to break things up with the women's group as well. They'll have 1 lap to go, and we'll get into all the coverage of their final lap as well. But we have 1K to go within the men's race though, as we do have Timmons up toward the front with, it looks like, Min, Leonard all setting up. Nobody able to get away just yet. Here comes Pierre Ficati from the 1K to go. That was a prediction from back here. 9 watts per kilogram going from way out. He does not want a sprint situation. They're following it up very closely. He did this last week, but he faded before the line, was unable to hold on to it. McQuaid followed it up very closely, but this might be a match burned way too early. McQuaid just pulling everybody along. This is actually going to be a lead-out train to chase down Pierre Ficati and give something perfect here to some of the riders who are sitting in the group. Bird now throwing down. Here comes the arrow power up though from Mariotti, but here comes Real Deal Veal Man off the front. No arrow power up. 8.3 watts per kilogram, 192 beats per minute. Where's Moriarty? Here comes the power up. Moriarty kicking. Here comes Zwift Kid Ciano for the win. And it looks like Moriarty might be able to hang on to it, but Zwift Kid's going to take the W. It looks like Bruce Bird, though, is the next one across the line for the points within the series. It will be, looks like Bruce Bird, Patazine, I believe, Lavoie, and then it was, I believe, Pierre Ficati sitting around 3rd or 4th place. What an effort there from Bird. He'll be taking, I believe, 19 points today on the day. A couple of those points are stolen, though, by Ciano, it looks like, the Zwift kid, grabbing those from the rest. Dwayne, I believe, able to sit within maybe the top 5 or so. Veal there went a little bit early and got caught right at the line, maybe within the top 10. A lot of shuffling up, though, it looks like, within the ride here. Oh, my goodness, absolutely crazy. Get your toaster ready, Raymond said. That was amazing. Final to the line. 1 lap to go for the women, though. It's not all said and done as we wait for the preliminary results from ZwiftPower.com. We'll be bringing those in just a minute here. And that was quite the effort there. G. Capel there on the podium, Chris Beck says. We'll have to wait and see if that is how things turned out. Looking through here, nothing just yet. We need to wait just a couple of seconds here for the final here. And it was, now we do have this coming through here. It does look like we do have Beth York on the front, though. for the final lap. C. Taylor kicking though with that feather power up, getting a gap now at this point. They might just let her go, but Beth now kicking in orange numbers, maybe trying to close this right on down. Looks like Taylor though getting that sprint jersey perhaps there, 13.39 there. Will be Newsom sitting at 13.40 though. Will they close it down there? It's still a 2-second gap now, and it looks like Taylor will be caught, I think, momentarily here. They were able to get rid of Fidel, and it looks like Newsom though off the back. Carissa able to hang on. What a ride, riding out of her skin at this point. It looks like Carissa Min able to hang on with this front group right now. Katrina in there as well. Beth still hanging on, it looks like here. We still got a race on our hands here, boys and girls, amongst the women right now. But let's get a quick look as they finish up their final lap here in just a moment. We're going to see what's going on with the results though for the men's races. We do have, as you see, Anthony Sinano sneaking up there for the Australia there, so unable to hold on to the unable to actually be a part of the race for the official final, but able to grab those points there from Bruce Burt sitting in second place. Patrick Moriarty, they're taking third place. AJ Catanzaro there then on the podium is Mr. Beck was saying there in third place. Then Michael Padzlin followed by Lavoy. Then it will be Justin Pierre Ficati there sitting in seventh place. McQuaid Dwayne, and then Keith Leonard there. Frankie Thomas, Ed Veal though early attack. He was in first place in the final 150, but boom, right on by. The pack just came flying by in those last few seconds there with those arrow power-ups and those last little kicks to the line. Scotty able to catch up to Whites there though and hold on to that 17th place. Almost caught Brendan there as well as Greg Chappelle there in 15th place in the Golden Retriever, as you can see. So that is your top 18. Still a couple places to be figured out down below. So back in with the women though as they make their way around the course. We do have a gap opening up with, looks like Beth may be able to kick in a couple of watts here, but no, not able to get rid of these riders. It will be a battle though between Fidel and Newsom to the line for those last few spots outside of the top 5, I believe, on the day here. So what's your prediction for the women's race now? Not exactly sure what happened to Scotty there, Mike Collins. I think there was some sort of a dropout or something, or maybe a loss of connection to the game at some point. There were a couple of mechanicals, I think, out there for a few of the riders there, Mike Collins. So I think there was something that happened there. He was able to get the team car going though, and was able to get back out on course and at least reserve 3 or 4 points on the day. Now back in with the women though, we do see it will be Beth here, 4.6 watts per kilogram. What's your prediction here? Will it be Weiss? Will it be York? Will it be Taylor? Or will it be Carissa Min with the ride of her lifetime, I think, here for TFC here, 3.0 watts per kilogram. Now Katrina here as well, 178 beats per minute, maybe looking to make up for the mechanical out there for Scotty now. As Beaumont though up to the front for Fearless now. Will PTZ be able to make it happen? Will CIS Cycling be able to happen? Will it be Fearless out there, or will it be Taylor? Newsom and Fidel here as well. Who's going to win that battle? Let's hear your predictions there for the women's race as they're about to have their final half a lap here, and just a mile and a half for them as well. So they're going to take a left-hand turn into Whitehall and climb right on into that 1K banner. Beth York now calming it on down. Here's the calm again before the storm. Who's got the arrow power-ups? Who's got the feathers? And who's going to attack and try and get away? I have a feeling there might be a little bit more chance for a full-on attack and a solid sticking of that attack and holding on to the finish line, perhaps amongst this smaller group of women. And we're hearing from Jason Kennedy, Beth York for sure. All right, Beth York is the prediction here coming from Jason Kennedy over at the Facebook group. We might have somebody saying, arguing differently for that result, but we'll have to see if this makes it correct. I won't argue it though. I think Beth might have the wattage to make this happen here. We are seeing Beaumont though on the front there, kicking it for Fearless now, coming out of Canada though. Carissa there hanging on. She's been playing it so incredibly smart. She's still got 12 beats to work with, using a very early very early arrow power up. It is going to be Beaumont here from Fearless, looking over her shoulder. Is she able to maybe get a little bit of gap though over the other women with that arrow power up, or is she just using it able to hang on at this point? Carissa now kicking 5.0 watts per kilogram. Now Katrina Weiss able to hang on there, and it will be on the front there again. We do have Beaumont now hanging on to this pace. Beth now actually maybe off the back a little bit. And Taylor now also maybe in a little bit of spot of bother here. 4.4 watts per kilogram, 180 beats per minute now. Still on the front, Beaumont out of Canada, Katrina, Taylor, Weiss there also, Beth, all together. All the heart rates though really starting to max out, as we can see. We are seeing 180 beats per minute, and we are back with J Pitts. I believe I did see the girls just go by though on our other feed. I think I will be able to bring us back into it, and yes, we are back with it here over on our other feed here. Beth York for sure is what we were saying here, and it looks like Beth definitely is in a good position at this point, and we are seeing, it looks like no attacks just yet though, but 180 beats per minute currently from Taylor, as we can see here right now as they come around for this final corner and into the final K now. And it looks like toward the front again, Beth here just trying to position herself toward the front, but not on the exact front. She doesn't want to be first. She wants to be second or third, not on the front, not pulling along here, making sure she's reserving as much energy as she can, but always still trying to kick into that again 4+, because to hold on to those front positions, you got to burn a few matches here and there. Now Carissa now 195. She's got 12 beats to work with herself. She goes to an absolute max. Not a whole lot going to be left for the sprint. She may be able to hang on and play it smart for the final few seconds of the race though. If she has an arrow power up, she's most likely got Mark Min just sitting right in her ear, letting her know exactly the timing as it should play out on course, as he just was a part of a sprint as well. Most likely saying, here's how it played out for me. Make it happen. Katrina as well, most likely with Scotty right over her shoulder. I absolutely love it. We got to get a picture of that. Get a picture of what that looks like there and send that to us on Twitter, because that is a sight of beauty actually there. Now we do see 6.4 watts per kilogram from Taylor kicking off the front, now leading it out at 7. Is it going to be Taylor with a little bit of an upset here amongst the women here? Again, another Australian maybe stealing some points from the series now. 5.3 watts per kilogram. Here comes the arrow power up. Chris has got one, but here goes Weiss, and she's going pretty early now. Here's feather power up, reducing that weight though, and it will be 7 watts per kilogram. Katrina Weiss, she gonna take it? Oh my goodness, Katrina Weiss with the W, perfectly timed. Katrina Weiss takes it at the line. What an effort there for Katrina. Gets it for the day. 20 points across the line for Katrina. What an amazing effort there for the Weiss household there. We do have Beaumont there, and it looks like Min able to hang on and amongst the pack here. Beth somewhere in there as well. We'll go ahead and take a look and see how this ended up turning up. But wow, what an effort there from Katrina. Obviously been putting the work in to get a result like that here amongst these women. We still have Fidel here now making her way to the line with Newsom. A little ways back from this pack now. Let's see if they're probably coming in right now actually, if we can get back in with them. We are seeing another little attack. Actually, we do see CIS Cycling going to be super happy actually, as they're out on course here chasing down Katrina as well. And there's Mr. Purificati, and we do see Newsom. Here we go to the line, it looks like. Able to get away from Fidel here and going to take that nest place out on course. Fidel is going to be next across the line, it looks like, as well. 3.2 watts per kilogram. So it was then, as we can see amongst the women here. I'm going to see if I can bring in for you this was the current standings amongst women here. Now we had a no-show for Verna as well as Javak Yan. So let's go ahead and see how things got mixed up here. Katrina then mixing it up at the front there with a solid 20 points. That'll put her into 35 points. Now it depends on where Beth and Beaumont then ended up there. If they were more than, let's see here, 1, 2, 3 places behind Katrina. 2 places for Beaumont, 3 places for Beth. There will definitely be a change up amongst the women for their placings out there. So it looks like Carly Taylor was the next one across line. Then we're not seeing anything from Beaumont just yet. So I think we are getting a couple of a little bit of dropouts for the results right now. I think also for the final here, but we'll wait for the finals in a day or two once we do get those from Zwift. But there will be some mixing up amongst the series for sure for the Crit East Series North America today. All right, that is going to be it for our coverage. Katrina Weiss takes the W amongst the women today. Solid effort there. We saw it there live just now. What an amazing effort amongst them. Again, a little bit of mechanicals out there for Scotty Weiss, it looked like, and ended up in 17th place, but the W does go for the day to Bruce Bird amongst those who are able to win the series in the East there, followed up by Patrick Moriarty and then AJ Catarzano there. And that will also definitely mix things up as Bruce is going to move his way on up, as well as it looks like Catarzano is really going to move his way up. And it looks like we will also have Moriarty there, able to get onto, I believe, yep, I am not seeing Moriarty in those, so he's going to get onto the board there as well. It does look like McQuaid is going to be jumping up a little bit as well. He did grab a few points, so lots of mix-ups going to be happening here. It's going to be a battle to the final, actually, for sure, amongst this East. This is a highly contested race series. Make sure you're ready to race every Monday if you are looking to take the W here, because there are definitely going to be people moving all over the place for the points. All right, if you're looking for any comments, make sure to bring them on in. I got a great picture. This is absolutely awesome. Thank you so much, Scotty, for sending us this our way. We are seeing right here Scotty Weiss with Katrina throwing her hands in the air, taking the W on the day for CIS. I absolutely love it. Hands in the air. There's a Swift setup. Husband and wife side by side, hammering it out for the day, for the series. I'm absolutely loving it. I think everybody loves to see that. Well done, Katrina, there, coming from Giannis Denning as well. Good to see Giannis hanging out, Vision Cycling rider. Maybe warming up for her West series. I heard she might be doing a little bit of West, as there's definitely some spots open, Denning. So hope to see you out there. And good to see everybody showing up today. That was an amazing race. And next up, we're going to have the Central race over on ZCL. The rest of the broadcast will be on Zwift Community Live, not on Zwift's Facebook. If you haven't done so already, like I always say, make sure to head on over to twitch.tv and follow Zwift Community Live over there for push notifications anytime that we do go live. Best place, live streaming platform for all things live. For our VODs, head on over to YouTube, and you can catch all of our past broadcasts over on YouTube, youtube.com/Zwift Community Live. You can also follow our Facebook for updates on anything that does go out to Facebook, but do not expect push notifications always over there. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Great job to all the racers out there as usual. Again, my name is Nathan Guerra, coming at you from Zwift Community Live. This was the East Zwift Crit Series presented by CycleOps here on Zwift Community Live. And we will be coming up next with the Central race. Thanks everybody for tuning in. And as always, great job to all the racers. Right on.